All right, everybody. Hello. Good morning.
Morning.
Do Tanya for Wednesday. We're starting today a new letter. Chayinu, page 71. This is Epistle 6, Communal Letter 6. And it is also a letter that is going to give a motivation for it's going to give a motivation for giving tzedakah by explaining what tzedakah accomplishes in the cosmos. So it starts with a verse. Zereh tzedakah secher emes. He who sows tzedakah has a reward of truth. Perish eschar is tzedakah himidus emes. This means that the attribute of truth is the reward for sowing tzedakah. It's also written Titemus Yaakov. It's also you've given truth unto Jacob. Okay. So it says in the verse, if you sow tzedakah, you have the reward of truth. This means that truth is the reward. If you give tzedakah, you get truth. What do we know about truth? It says by truth is that Jacob, you give truth to Jacob. So and the prophet Micha, who says that you give truth to Jacob, speaks the praises of Hashem as it's written in the Holy Zohar, meaning it's saying it more rather than like in literal understanding of the prophet. It means that the person is petitioning God to give truth to Jacob, right, to fulfill the promise. Here it's saying more than it's saying a matter of fact. That God gives truth to Jacob. This means that Hashem, who gives the attribute of truth to Jacob. Okay, so what does that mean? What does it mean that God gives truth to Jacob? That like, if Jacob, he doesn't have truth unless God gives it. Like, what does that mean? Don't we have to make our own truth or live by truth? So to get to understand this, we have to talk about a little bit of spheres, about the sphera energies. We know that Jacob embodies the attribute of compassion, right? Abraham is kindness, Yitzchak is discernment, and Yaakov is compassion. And what does it mean? All the forefathers are models of different services of God. So what is the it's well known that the okay. What does it mean? It means you have to think about, meditate, have compassion on your divine soul, which is distant. It's from its source, the light of God's countenance. And whenever we're in the darkness of the vanities of this world, when you think about that, this arousal of compassion, makes you really feel for the soul. And that, of course, is commensurate with a person's understanding of the greatness of God. And you reflect on how the infinite sublime worlds and the intricate world, the universes, are all naught before God. Because it's only a mere glimmer of one single letter of God's name, as we said yesterday. We quoted, right, that with a yud, God creates all the spiritual worlds, and with a hey, God creates the physical world. That's just like one letter. And that little glimmer is what gives us the flow of every single higher and lower being. And the degree of it is how much there's a difference if it's a spiritual world or a physical world. And the distinctions between past, present, future, and all events They're all determined by the combination of the letters of God's name. We spoke about that many times. The letters are the code that basically creates reality. But God, that's only a glimmer, but God's essence has not changed. Neither in terms of change in progression from the higher to the lower worlds. God's equally present everywhere. Nor in temporal change. God is no different. He was, is, and will be, as we say. Just as he was the only true being before creation, he's the only real true being after creation. And this is just a small meditation. Everything is nothing in comparison to God. It's merely a drop in the bucket, so to speak. This underlies what we say in the prayers, that God is exalted alone from aforetime. Just as he was then, before creation alone, he's so too now. This means God is exalted and elevated, transcending the dimension of time, which is called the days of the world. This is because the life force of all the days of the world derived from the spiritual level known as king, which is just the lower manifestation of God. It follows then. Basically, this is a little meditation that there's extremely great cause to feel compassion for the spark that dwells in the dark and gloomy body, the hide of the snake. For the body is liable to contract impurity and to become defiled by various lusts. May God spare us. If not for God serving the man as a shield, giving him strength and might to wage war with the body and his passions to triumph over them. And this is the meaning, master of our strength, shield of our salvation. Okay, takeaway is this is about reflection of God's transcending time and space. Creation did not change anything. And basically, when we extol God as exalted and transcendent, and we beseech God in his mercy to have compassion, what we're doing is we're affirming that God gives us the power to transcend our feeble, temporal, material world. Okay, that ends the Tanya for today.